Ranked on ranked in the SEC, the 114th Magnolia Bowl. First time both teams enter undefeated since 1959. Ole Miss seeking their first 5-0 start since 2022. LSU off to a 4-0 start for the first time since winning the Natty in 2019. Keywan Lacey, 15-yard touchdown. Ole Miss takes the lead 10-7. Lacey's SEC best 8th rushing touchdown of the season. End of the first half, Trinidad Chambliss connects with Caden Lee. Ole Miss up 17-7 at the break. Chambliss 225 total yards, 1 touchdown in the first half of all 3 starts, replacing the injured Austin Simmons. Late third quarter, Rebels up 17-10. Chambliss escapes the pressure, heaves one up for Deuce Alexander, but it's picked by P.J. Woodland. Chambliss' first INT at Ole Miss results in an LSU field goal to cut it to 17-13. Mid-fourth, Tigers trail 24-13. First and goal, Harlem Berry, he's in. Tigers down 24-19 after a failed 2-point attempt, but LSU had just 57 yards rushing. Ensuing Ole Miss drive. Under 2 minutes to play, need a first down to ice it. 4th and 3 from the 35. Chambliss to Daquan Wright. All is right in Oxford. Takes a seat to end this one, and Ole Miss hangs on to win it 24-19. The lane train continues. Rebels start the season 5-0 for the first time since 2022. Garrett Nussmeier did not have a good game. A touchdown to interception. He's had one game this season with multiple touchdown passes. Trinidad Chambliss filling in for the injured Austin Simmons leads Ole Miss to yet another victory. The Rebels outgained the Tigers 480-254 in this game. And for the Rebels, they keep on winning at home. They've won 7 straight at home and 17 of their last 18 in Oxford. CBS Sports HQ presented by Belfour Property Restoration. Back here in studio, Emory Hunt, Cardale Jones. Look at this. We're back to where we were a week ago, right? I mean, Brian Kelly asked, where's your running game? Cardale, we're right back in the same situation. I mean, that reporter might ask him the same question after this one.
You know, if I was that reporter, hopefully I'm at the press conference here in about 48 seconds. I'll be asking that question before you rudely cut me off Tuesday at your press conference. I was going to ask you, where's the run game? And let me tell you how you can potentially improve it, because clearly he was too big for that question to ask. And we talked about this earlier in the show as we talked about Ohio State going out to Washington and how they got it done, right? A few things you need to take with you when you're talking about road game across the country, or definitely in SEC country, conference game, all the storylines leading up to this game. You got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to play tough defense, and you got to be able to protect it. LSU just lost a whole identity of being able to run the football in the last year and a half or so under Brian Kelly. And I mean, I'm not shocked to see the results here today. You're not going to win many football games going into another team's environment at night and can't establish the line of scrimmage.
And what makes it worse, there was 6:13 left in the fourth quarter. It was a 3rd and 1, and he ran it and got stuffed. Then they had to go for it on 4th down. They had a false start, so they had to back him up 5 yards, so now they have to throw it to really get this first. They ended up converting, but that right there exacerbated the whole issue we were talking about with the run game. They cannot run the football. And if you're not going to run the football, fine. Texas Tech couldn't run the football when it was the air raid, right? But you're going to need your quarterback to really step up and make plays consistently to overcome your lack of a run game. They got absolutely nothing from Garrett Nussmeier, and that's concerning in and of itself, on top of the fact that they can't run the football. I mean, how many times we were talking about LSU potentially as RBU at some point in time, and now they can't even run, which is shocking for LSU, but it's also shocking for Brian Kelly, because that was his thing at Notre Dame. Yeah. And that has not traveled down south to Baton Rouge.
Total yards, 480-254 in favor of Ole Miss. That's minus 226. That's the worst total yards differential in a game in 5 seasons for LSU. So, look, you sit here and you just mentioned Garrett Nussmeier, who came back. I'm curious if you think, because he's only thrown multiple touchdown passes in 1 game this season. I'm curious if you think, did he make the wrong decision coming back to school? Should he have gone into the NFL draft? I know everything's hindsight's 2020, but if he's not having the start here, he's going to need to have a huge rest of way season here to hype up his draft stock, because he was a big name last season and he decides to come back. And performances like this on the road, this is where evaluators like yourself will look at tape and go, are you tough enough? Can you play? And are you talented enough to play at the next level?
I don't want to toot my horn early, but when they asked me who was the best quarterback in the SEC, I was like, it was Taylor Green, because 6'6", 230, Reminded me a lot of Vince Young and Randall Cunningham, right? But when you look at Garrett Nussmeier, everyone's shocked that I didn't say Nussmeier, is because of moments like this in these high leverage games. That's all I care about, really. I don't care how tall or how short you are or fast or whatnot. How can you play when the game is on the line? That's all. That's quarterbacking. Like, I need you to handle your business on third down. LSU, 2 out of 11 on third down today. That's not getting it done. I need you to handle your business, 4-minute offense, backed up offense, red zone offense, and he hasn't stepped up in those areas. And so to me, unless that drastically changes and he just goes lights out, I'm going to just lock in and play really well, this is concerning not only for LSU, but as you project moving forward.
Yeah, and as you're a quarterback, especially at the next level, there's really 3 things you evaluate it as: your win-loss column, right? Your third down conversion, and your red zone success. And Nussmeier is struggling in all 3 of those areas. So I wasn't shocked that he returned outside of the people who were giving him all the hype, but it was a lot of areas that he personally needs to improve on. And we continue to see those struggles with him right now, early in 4 games into the season. It's no reason why he shouldn't be up there with multiple touchdown passes per game and averaging close to 300 yards per game with the talent. And LSU is one of the teams on offense in the SEC have more returning starters than a lot of other teams around the country. But for some reason, the quarterback play in the SEC, when we're talking about guys like Lenore Sellers, DJ Lagway, Nussmeier, of returning guys, what we're excited about, all 3, just to be specific, are struggling big time right now. So we'll see. Hopefully he can turn it around, not just for his sake and his draft status, but hopefully we can want to see LSU in the college football playoffs this year.
Because they're wasting a great defense. This defense really did a good job today.
It's giving you Florida vibes. And what's really holding Florida back, the lack of success on offense.
Well, Trinidad Chambliss did not start the season as the starter. He came in for the injured Austin Simmons, and look, he's come in 3 straight games and led them to victories. This is a Division II guy that had transferred in from Ferris State, and he's dynamic. He can throw, he can pass Cardale, and to the fact that you're able to do enough against this LSU defense, what does that say about this young man?
The biggest thing that he does that Simmons wasn't doing early in his career, earlier in the season, is protecting the football and being dynamic in the off-schedule plays. That's where Chambliss really is a difference maker. I think he rushed for over 60 yards in this game here today. And when you got a dynamic guy who protects the football, who's a true threat in the +1 running game, it's going to be hard to defeat.
And you think about what he had to go through at Ferris State. You talk about national champion, right? So 14 games, you're getting through Slippery Rock, you're getting through Grand Valley. You know, these are some perennial powers.
Shouts to Grand Valley. Good for you.
Yeah, the Lakers. That's what Brian Kelly. I'm a library up here, guys. But I will say it's circular.
He's trying to go full circle here.
Exactly.
Love this.
So, but the thing is, he's played in these high leverage moments, albeit at the Division II level. But this was similar to the championship game at Ferris State. So, hey, I can handle the moment, and that's the difference. And to your point, he's protecting the football. He's being a +1 in the run game. And if you're doing that and being your 111 and playing above the X's and O's when the situation calls for it, you're going to win more than you lose. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Austin Simmons gets back full strength, and what that situation now looks like for Ole Miss, because they have a good problem.
You got to ride with Trinidad. I mean, you're 5-0.
Easily. You ride with the hot hand because, as the old saying, with the running back situation, you want a pair and a spare. But the quarterback situation, if you got 2, you got none.
Right.
And they have a bye, and then it's Washington State, and then it's Georgia and Oklahoma, and that's really where there's going to be separation between Ole Miss and the season, right? Like, you passed a massive test beating LSU, but it's the guys in the middle of the season, it's these games in the middle of the season that really define your season.
What's funny about this, and this is how football karma works, it was the Georgia game last year that got us excited about Austin Simmons, because when Dart got knocked out, Simmons came in and locked in. It was like, okay, man, Dart got healthy, I don't know how, came right back in and he beat the brakes off Georgia. So that's a fascinating game right there for Chambliss. But I like how they're playing defensively. Even though this is not the same defense they had last year, they're still playing very good team defense collectively. Again, holding the LSU to 2 of 11 on third downs, turning the ball over at key times. Even when they were going deep down the field, the secondary was lockstep with these speedy LSU wide receivers. And so this is a defense I feel like can take it to other teams in the SEC. So we'll see if they can handle the moment, because that's where a guy like Lane Kiffin has to step up, where he's usually falling short.
We shall see how it plays out. There's going to certainly be some more questions for LSU. Look, I can't wait to hear the press conference. So I'm excited. if something comes out of that press conference, we will have it for you here on CBS Sports HQ.
Right? Can we
I think it's probably too late to get the Zoom call for us on set here, but we'll get something. If we hear something or there's some sort of table-pounding soundbite, we will react to it here on CBS Sports HQ. The big takeaway for Ole Miss, another win at home, off to a 5-0 start for the first time since 2022. They have now won 7 straight and 17 of their last 18 home games. You go play in Oxford, it's a beautiful place to go, but hey, anytime you go on the road in the SEC, it is always going to be difficult, and Ole Miss making it a tough place to play as they hand LSU its first loss of the season.